Welcome back everyone to another Psych Reacts video. Today I'm going to be showing you how a frat boy did the unthinkable. How does a boy in college go from a promising student to a cold-blooded murderer? So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the video.
Austin was happy to spend time with his family before setting off to college. This was where things got dodgy. His college days. He first started off with bodybuilding, even becoming popular on social media. College is where he made new friends, had a girlfriend, and experimented with drugs. He started drinking alcohol, using acid, MDMA, mushrooms, snorting cocaine, and smoking marijuana. By the end of the first year at college, everything changed.
Alright, so his first year of college, he started getting into substance abuse, using MDA. He started snorting cocaine, smoking marijuana, taking acid. Every single drug practically that you could think of, Austin has probably taken or tried. Now, substances can alter a person's mind of thinking. It can cause them to react slower. It can cause their personality to change. Whether they were happy before like Austin, they can now become sunken, depressed, lonely, on edge. Another thing with substances is it can cause you to hallucinate, especially with the types of drugs that Austin was on. Let's go ahead and continue watching further.
He struggled with all of his emotions and all the pressure he was under. He even wrote self-identity letters to himself about how he wanted to be more assertive. He struggled to cope with the high of all the drugs and the extreme anxiety and depression when he was sober.
Okay, so he started writing identity letters to himself. So already he is struggling with who he is as a person. He wanted to be more assertive, wanted to be more dominant. However, he just wasn't that type of person before the drugs. Now, the drugs can alter his personality and cause him to become this assertive person. However, it does have multiple risks behind it. Not only can substance abuse change the way you think, it can also change your psyche. He started searching up whether it was necessary to sleep. Now, obviously, it is necessary to sleep, and if you don't do that, then eventually it wears on your brain. Your brain becomes more tired, it becomes less responsive, and it starts to cause other issues within your body.
In the summer holidays, he returned to his family and they picked up that something in his behavior was different. He was no longer the happy boy. He moved his bed out of the bedroom into the garage because he believed that the house was full of demons. He refused to sleep and patrolled the house at night. Every 2 hours, he would knock on his family members' bedroom doors, announcing that he was protecting them.
Once he moved back to his house during the summer, he started to not be able to sleep in his own bedroom. He said there was demons roaming his house, and so he moved to the garage. This can be due to a disorder called schizophrenia, where people do hallucinate and they do see other figures, they do talk to other figures. However, we have to pay attention to the amount of drugs that he is on. He's been on mushrooms, which can cause hallucinations. He's been taking ecstasy, which can cause impulsivity, paranoia, and a heightened sensory perception, as well as snorting cocaine. You put this all together and you receive somebody who is in sensory overdrive. Now, along with the hallucinations caused by the mushrooms, this can put somebody in a very panicked state.
Later in the summer, Austin was clean, or so he told them. His erratic behavior, however, remained the same. His family decided to use the Baker's Act, which is where one is tested for mental illness for 72 hours.
Now, apparently Austin was clean during a month of the summer. Now, if he was clean and he was still experiencing this erratic behavior like it mentioned, then that would point more towards a mental illness rather than substance abuse.
He went to have dinner with his dad at a local restaurant. They get into a fight and Austin storms off. He does the unthinkable. Michelle, 53 years old, and John Stevens, 59 years old, are randomly attacked out of the blue. Austin jumped on Michelle and started beating her and stabbing her to death. A neighbor of the Stevenses, Jeffrey Fisher, was also wounded in the process of trying to save his friends. He gets stabbed in the back and quickly makes a run to call the police.
Okay, so how does a 19-year-old college student go from being a promising student? He wanted to be a doctor, he wanted to help people, he was very happy, very lighthearted, very energetic. How does he go from that to stabbing 2 people to death and seriously injuring another? Let's take a look.
Outside of Fisher's window, he heard Austin howling like a wolf and screaming at the same time. It gets worse. Martin County Sheriff's deputies arrived at the scene of the crime at the Stevensons' home north of Palm Beach. They were shocked by what they found. Michelle was dead with her body all mangled. In the driveway, they saw a body lying motionless on the ground. Then they couldn't believe their eyes. Austin was on top of John Stevens, eating his face off. Have you ever heard of something so gruesome in your life? Not even schizophrenia or any mental illness cuts this. As Austin was still busy eating John's face, the deputies were trying with all their might to get him to stop. At this point, Haruf was held at gunpoint, but Austin didn't even notice any police officers around him.
Not only did he murder 2 people out of the blue, he becomes a cannibal and eats one of the person's faces. Now, you may be thinking, how on earth does it escalate to that extent? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at why it got to this point.
This is what Haruf tells us after these murders. God and demons have been chasing him. He was completely paranoid, hallucinated, and lost it. After the attack, Austin said that God and the demons have been talking to him and that he has Jesus' special abilities. On Dr. Phil, Austin revealed that he was fleeing a demon called Daniel. On the day of attacking the Stevenses, he told Dr. Phil that the spirit of a dog possessed him, giving him extra strength and agility. He thought Michelle was a witch and John an evil spirit.
So this is where we start to get into the mental illness. On the day of the attack, it mentioned that he tested positive for marijuana. Now, marijuana does not do that to people. So the only other thing that this would point toward would be a schizophrenic disorder. Psychologically, schizophrenia can cause hallucinations, paranoia, hearing voices, depression, fear, or religious delusion. Austin mentioned that God has spoke to him and that demons are chasing him. He also mentions that he has Jesus' special abilities. These relate to the religious delusions and therefore can be recognized as those symptoms of schizophrenia. Another symptom he portrayed was the hallucinations and the paranoia. He thought a demon named Daniel was chasing him, and he also thought that his victims were a witch and a demon. So the only way to truly know if Austin really needs mental psychotic help is get him clean, get him off the drugs, and then find out whether or not he still has this behavior. If he does, then it more likely points towards a mental illness. Also, you want to check for familial backgrounds and check to see if anybody in the family has had schizophrenia or any types of mental illnesses like schizophrenia. But that's going to do it for this video. If you did watch and enjoy this one, make sure you drop a like down below. It truly helps the video out and I greatly appreciate it. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think he is just on drugs and is in a drug haze? Or do you think he has a mental illness? Make sure if you haven't already to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. But that's going to do it for this one and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye guys!